And we're back. And today I got a story for you. This is my story on how my high school best friend ended up marrying my high school boyfriend. Actually, I don't even know if they're married, but they definitely have two babies together. They have twins, and honestly, those babies are mad cute. And you know who you are, and if you're seeing this, mwah, thank you for the watch. So let's just get to it. I want to start from the very beginning of how this story just kind of unfolded and what happened, what I learned from it, and maybe you can learn something from it too, because damn, it was not easy. It was a really weird thing. But okay, let's change their names just for privacy purposes, I guess, or just, to be nice. I could really just use their names because I don't care, but I'm gonna be nice, okay? Because I feel nice today. Let's call. Okay, so it all started with my high school. So I went to high school in the Lower West Side of New York, the Lower West Village. Actually, people get mad at me when I say that, but it's the West Village, I guess. It's like right around Washington Square Park, if you know where that is, if it matters. But yeah, I went to school there as it was an alternative high school. So that means that it only had 11th and 12th grade, and they did schooling very differently. They had kids either go to school either 3 or 2 times a week, and the rest of the week they would go to internships. And this school was for people that just didn't really fit into their first school, into the first high school. And I left my first high school because I was kind of being bullied. I am very bubbly, I smile big, and I'm friendly, and I talk to everyone and anyone. And while I was in high school, I used to have like really bright red hair, and I kind of did the whole Ariana Grande thing. And I would wear bows, and I would wear blazers, and we had uniforms, but I would make the uniform my own. Like, I had my own style. And I think that that just bothered some people. Some people really didn't like me. And it turned out that one of the girls that went there, she had a guy that she liked, and the guy was like really nice, and I guess he liked me, and she was just not happy about that, and she started bullying me. And I was friends with her sister. They posted nasty things about me on social media. And you know what? Mwah. Thank you, because that was the start of my social media influencing, I guess. But yeah, back to my story. Look, I got a lot of stories, so I could do this forever. But back to the main story, right? I went to this alternative high school, and there I met a lot of interesting characters. I was super involved in school, and I did really good in school, and I love talking and socializing and getting to know the people there. But yeah, I went in, and I think I had already done like a semester there, and I met this guy. Let's call him Zane, right? So Zane would hit on me here and there. At first, we were just kind of like in the same class, and we didn't really talk much. But then eventually with time, he would start like kind of like hinting that he liked me a little bit. But Zane and Adam were good friends, and Adam had a crush on me too. And I think Adam had told Zane that he liked me, so Zane didn't act on it until much later. This is important, right? Because at first there was nothing there. It was just friendly and classmates. But as time progresses, a new cohort of students came into the school, and this is where Mimi and Didi come into the school. And you know who you are if you're watching again. So, mwah, 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 mwah. Mimi and Didi come into the school, and they're twins. Okay, they're like very average looking white girls. And at first, actually, Didi came into the school first. So let me correct myself. Didi came into the school first, and then Mimi came into the school. So when Didi got into the school, we had like a class together or something, and we just started bonding, and she kind of just like leeched onto me and wanted to hang out a lot. So I was just like, you're cute, you're cool, let's hang out. So we just started hanging out, and mind you, I had my own life. I had like 5 jobs that I was working. I had school, and I had an after school program that I had to go to, and I had my internships. So I was really busy. So I didn't spend much time really hanging out. I just kind of like hung out when I had some free time. And right across the street from my school, there was a park where people would go there and like smoke and like skateboard and play handball and just hang out between classes or before and after school. So the teachers will walk by and see you like smoking, and they'll be like, get to class, and you'll be like, oh, okay, whatever, and then you go to class. But I didn't really get to hang out in that park much until the ending of that school, of my second year actually there. But to backtrack a little bit, I started hanging out with Dee Dee, and eventually Dee Dee invited me over to her house and invited me over into her life a little bit more. So I started meeting some of her friends, and then I met her family. First, I think I met her sister, who was Mimi, her twin sister. And at first, Mimi hated my fucking guts. She did not like me one bit. And I think it was all because I was just friends with Dee Dee. And she didn't really like Dee Dee's friends because Dee Dee had a horrible judge of character. And that's why I think she ended up going to my school. Because she was just not doing well in her first school or something like that, and then ended up in my school, and then we became friends, and then she brought me home, and then Mimi was just like, I know I'm not gonna like her, and she thinks she's all that, and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she doesn't know me. She just met me. And Dee Dee was having this party at her house. I go to her house, I meet her, and she just like treats me like she was so bitchy to me. And you know what? I just laughed at her, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I think it's funny because you don't know me. And I think she kind of started to catch on to who I am and my vibe. And she was like, wait a minute, actually, like, you're kind of cool. Because there was a girl that had came to this party, and she wasn't friends with Mimi or Dee Dee, and they were too scared to kick her out. And I was like, I volunteer. And I kicked her out. I was like, you need to go. You need to leave this apartment right now. And so she left. But I think that made Mimi like me more because she was like, oh, you stood up for us and my sister, and so I want to be your friend now. So then time goes on, and I'm kind of friends with both, but then they start kind of having this like weird rivalry on like who's my friend more and who gets to spend more time with me. But that whole time, like, I'm trying to hang out with the both of them because I'm like, you're twin sisters. We should be able to hang out together and have fun. But they just hated each other's guts because their mom had pinned them against each other. But they really didn't even know that. I think it was just like subconsciously she had been doing that, right? Because she would compare them all the time, and she would favor Dee Dee over Mimi. Like, she was like, Dee Dee's always, like, she was like prettier, right? You know how they always say there's like a prettier twin? People say that, okay? I'm just listening to what people are saying. But I think that in their dynamic, she felt like Dee Dee was always like the slimmer one, the prettier one, the more like sociable, relatable one, while Mimi was kind of like a rebel, more like dark and like laid back and more introverted and quiet. And so I think their mom took a liking to siding with Dee Dee for a while, and that put them against each other because, you know, like, who does that, right? Like, that's definitely gonna turn out shitty, right? That's never gonna give you a good result in the family dynamic. So then as I'm trying to like hang out with them, I'm starting to notice like how much they actually don't like each other, and it just became a little bit uncomfortable. But I just looked past it because I'm like, whatever, like, it's not my problem. They're sisters, they should be able to figure it out. But I would often find myself trying to like break fights up and like deflate situations and like be like, you guys are sisters. Like, I know other twins that are like fucking best friends. Like, what are you doing? You guys should talk. You guys should get to like knowing that this was your mom's doing and not each other. Like, you, come on. And I just think they innately didn't really like each other that much because they were so different, but always compared. So anyways, I kept going to school, kept hanging out with them, not really thinking about it too much. And then Dee Dee went away to college, and it was weird because before she left, she was like, I feel like when I go away to college, you're not going to be my friend anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, whenever you come home, I can also go visit you. Like, we can still be friends. But this is where it starts getting juicier and juicier. So stick around. So then Dee Dee goes away to college, and now Mimi is like forcing to be my friend. Like she's like pushing to be my friend. She was not really. I think at this point we had already graduated, and I had started college, and then Dee Dee went away to college because they were a little younger than me. So Dee Dee went away to college. I was already in like my first year of college, and Mimi decided not to go to college. So she started working at restaurants and like having this like nightlife and blah blah blah, and like so she had more money than both of us did because she's working and she's not going to school, and I'm going to school full time. I have jobs, I have rent, I'm not living with my parents. She was living with her mom for a bit. Like, you know, you have more money to spare than I did. So I was just like playing it smart, saving money, trying to like survive because my mom wasn't really the most, like my family and my living situation wasn't the safest or most comfortable. So I just kind of, you know, was surviving. And Mimi would be like, here's food, like here's some gifts, like here's this, here's that. Like she would give me things and then kind of like throw it in my face. She's like, oh, well, I'm doing this for you. Like I'm kind of like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And like, now you have to be my friend. Like you need to do this for me. You need to do that for me. And I just felt a little weird always about that. And I was like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask you to give me food. I didn't ask you to do this and that for me. But I felt like she was doing it to kind of manipulate me and like keep me in her life in some sort of way, because maybe she didn't find value in herself, and so she needed to do all these other things for me so that I felt like I had to be her friend, or she felt like she had something over me to like keep me there. But I didn't really need anything. I was like, let's just be friends. Like I don't need you to buy me things. I don't need anything. Like if I just can't go out, I won't go out because I don't have the money. So like, but anyways, like it became a little bit transactional, a little bit weird, and I felt her energy was always kind of like jealous and secretive. And throughout that time that we were friends, Dee Dee and I kind of went distant because she got weird. She started having like all these weird friends from college. Mimi and I even went and visited Dee Dee in school in her college, and it was so weird because Dee Dee started acting like a completely different person, and she was just like super like sketchy and like weird vibes, just weird vibes all around. Even Mimi noticed it, and she was like, ew, I don't like my sister. And I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't like your sister, I'm just saying she's different right now. Like I don't like that. And then they made like, my birthday's on Halloween, well, it's the 30th, but I celebrated all month because, you know, everyone's in New York. It's like a big thing, right? There's a whole parade. Everyone's getting dressed up. So we decide to go up to Mimi's school, to Dee Dee's school. Mimi and I decided to go up to Dee Dee's school to celebrate it there. And they decide for me. They were like, so we're going to Six Flags. And I don't even like roller coasters that much, but I was like, fine, I guess we're going to Six Flags. So then we decide, was it even Six Flags or Great Event? I don't even know. It was an amusement park. So we decided to go to an amusement park, and it started raining. And I just like hated the entire day. Like it was just miserable. I like absolutely did not enjoy that day at all. And we ended the trip in a really bad, weird way. Like it was just like a weird tone to the trip and like a weird vibe. So we ended up leaving and going back to, we made a stop in Boston, actually, Mimi and I, and we had like a little cute moment, and that bonded us a little bit more because I'm like realizing like, oh, you're being a real ass bitch while your sister's like acting fake as fuck, and she's like switching it up now that she's in college, after she told me, I hope you're still my friend when I go to college. But she's the one acting weird. So I'm like, what? Anyways, so now Mimi and I are bonding. We're realizing that Dee Dee's acting mad fucking weird, mad fake, like going through like some weird shift in her life. And so we're like not there. And there's not much we can do about it unless you're coming home and trying to hang out with us. So then when she would come home and try to hang out with us, it was always like she didn't want Mimi to be there. She wanted to just be like her and I. And that's fine, I guess. So, but like, it was just weird, and I didn't feel as connected to her because she wasn't trying to be connected to me in the way that we were. So then I'm like, now it feels forced. Anyways, we speed up time, and Mimi and I continue to get closer and closer. And then for my junior year of college, I study abroad. So I pack all my little things up, and I moved to Italy. And I was living in Florence, Italy, and let me tell you, that was the best year of my life living in Italy. At first, I was studying abroad, and then I dropped out, and I literally just got jobs under the table as a tour guide and at a restaurant and at a shoe shop and promoting, and I just made it a whole lifestyle. So Mimi thought that I was coming back, and then when I end up not coming back, she's like, I'm gonna come visit you. So she ends up buying a trip to Europe, and I say Europe because she bought several different she went to different countries. So she went to like Spain first, and she had a whole moment there where she was like visiting a friend or a family friend or a cousin or something like that. And she ended up getting like sexually assaulted there and had a whole like weird trip, and I felt so bad, and I was trying to be like friendly, and I was like, you know what, just come to Florence. She's like, I'm gonna come to Florence. So she comes to, actually no, not even, she was going to Paris first, to France, and then she was like, I want you to come to France with me, I want you to come to Paris with me, so I'm gonna buy you a flight. And I felt it in my stomach at that time where I was just like, I don't know if I should be doing this. But she's saying that it's a gift to me for my birthday, and that she wants me to be there, and that it'll be so much more fun if I was there. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. And it was probably like $300, maybe less than that, because I'm going from Florence to Paris, right? I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything because it's cheaper, but like I'm just saying like this is what she decided to do for me, and I took it, and I just, I don't know, I just felt weird about it, but I still did it. It's not like she's buying a flight from the US to Paris. You know, like that's a way bigger deal. But I'm just meeting her there. So then we get a hostel together, and I fly out to Paris, and she meets me in Paris. Or I meet her in Paris, I should say. We get a hostel together, and we had so much fun in Paris, let me tell you. But the story for that is crazy, which I'll do like a little side quest here in this story. So we get to Paris, and we stay at this hostel, and there was this Brazilian girl in the hostel in the same room that we were at, because it was a 3-people room, and it was me and Mimi were like in bunk beds, and then the girl was in a separate bed, but we're all in the same bedroom, and there's like a sink, and then the bathrooms are outside. So we get to the room, to the hostel, we check in, and everywhere in this place it says like, it has all these rules pasted all over the wall, and we kind of like don't really read them because we're just like trying to get in and get out so that we can go explore Paris, because we're not there for long, we're just there for a weekend. So we get in, we meet this girl, we're like, come out with us. She's like, I can't, I have a flight at 3 a.m. and I just spent all day traveling across Paris, and like I'm tired, and I gotta fly at 3 a.m. So we're like, okay, but it was nice to meet you, we'll be back tonight, and maybe we'll see you before you leave. She's like, okay, bye. So we go out, and me being me, I find us a nice little bar, and I start to like, you know, work my little crystal magic, and I get us free drinks all night, just like throwing back French 75s at the bar for free. Water free, like water bottles for free, drinks for free. We got everything for free that night. So we get plastered. We get so drunk that Mimi's dancing at this point of the night, and she doesn't dance. She was like very quiet, very laid back, like very uncomfortable in her body, I would say. But this night she was like shaking them hips, and I was like, ooh, girl. So we just keep drinking, having fun, and then we both black out. And all I remember is looking up and seeing this long ass street in Paris, and I'm like, we go that way, this way is the hostel, and I grab her hand, and that's all I remember. And then I open my eyes and I wake up, and we're in the hostel, and I'm on the top bunk and she's at the bottom bunk, and I'm like half naked, and I'm wearing like my shirt, my underwear, and I'm sleeping, and I'm like, oh, I have a huge headache, but I have to pee so bad. So I get up and I grab my phone, and I don't see the girls there anymore, the third girl. I go downstairs to the bathroom, and as I'm in the bathroom, I like put my phone down, and then I come out, and then I grab my phone, I come out actually, and then as I'm coming out, the host, the lobby host or the manager comes up the stairs to the level that I was in, because our bedroom was on like the second or third floor. There was like a mid floor where the bathroom was, and then there was the lobby. So the manager comes out of the lobby, comes up the stairs, and tells me, go get your roommate right now, or your friend, and come downstairs right now. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you better get down here as fast as possible. Go get her now and come down. And I'm like, what? And then she leaves, she goes down there. And then I go back and I try to open the door with my key and I can't. I'm locked out. My key's not working. Like my little card. It's not working to open the door. And I'm like, what the heck? So then I come back down and I go to the front desk and I'm like, hey, and I put my phone down there on the front. And I'm like, hey, like, can you tell me what this is about? And she was like, you two are in big trouble. You need to go get her right now. And I was like, I can't even open my door. So can you like let me in? Like, so I can go get her. And she's like, fine. And she like turns my key card back on. And I leave my phone there, not knowing that I left it there. And I go back upstairs. I open the door and I'm like, yo, get up. Like, we're being summoned to the lobby. We gotta go. Like, come on. And she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, fuck, where's my phone? And at this point, I'm so hungover that I think this girl, the third girl, stole my phone while I had it the whole time in my hand. But I'm like so hungover, I can't think right. And now this woman's like yelling at me and I'm like, where's my phone? So there's a lot happening. And I'm like, okay, let's go downstairs. Let's just go downstairs. So we go downstairs and I'm like, oh, this is mine. And she's like, you guys are plastered. You guys were drunk. You were so hungover. You got here late and now you're getting kicked out. You got to grab all your shit and get out in the next 30 minutes. You got to be out of here as soon as possible because we can call the police because you came in here so drunk and we're going to charge you a fee for being drunk because look, all over the walls it says if you show up drunk and you make noise at night, you're getting kicked out and you have to pay a fee. And we're like, what? And she was like, and one of you was so drunk that when you got back to your room, one of you peed on that girl's open luggage before she left. And she was crying so much, and we took pictures of you, and she was crying so much. All her things were covered in urine. We have to spend so much money cleaning all her things, making sure that she could pack so that she could be on her flight back home to Brazil at 3 a.m. So you guys are getting the fuck out of here right now. And she's like, and you have to pay this fee. And I'm calling all the hostels in France. And I'm putting you in a database so that you can't rent any more hostels. And I was like, whoa, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we couldn't believe what she was saying. But we did both black out. And that was definitely on us. And we were definitely in college being stupid. So I was like, fine. My friend Mimi starts crying and she's like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to have anywhere to stay. And I'm like, relax. She can't do shit. Like, all she can do is like, what? Like, she's not going to call the embassy. What are they going to do? Oh, American girls got drunk in France on a trip. What are they going to do? Arrest us? We're not drunk anymore. We made it home. All we can do is pay this fee and get out. And my friend's freaking out the entire time. And I'm like, shut up. And I pay the fee because she had gotten the flight and whatever. So I pay the fee. We leave. And it's so early in the morning. It's like 7, 8 a.m. And the hostels don't let you check in until like after 10 or like after 3 sometimes. Like some weird hour. Like this specific hostel didn't let us check in until way later. So we like went to this diner and we just sat there for hours just like dying. Like so hungover, like dead with our luggage, like waiting to check into the next hostel. Finally, we check into the next hostel, and it's like, now what? So we're fine, we're better now, and I'm like, we're gonna go out again because we're here, and we might as well make the best of it. So I get on Hinge, and I like start swiping, and we want to kind of like smoke weed and hang out and meet some cute French guys. So I match with a guy, and he's like, well, let's hang out tonight and bring your friend, and like let's hang out at my like around my apartment, and I have like weed and I could give you some weed. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. So we go meet him outside and like we hang out with him. He brings his dog and like it was like so cute. And this kid, turns out he was going away to rehab the next day. So he gave us all his weed and all his drugs and he was like, enjoy. And we were like, okay, like cool. And he takes us into his like apartment that he's living in. And sorry, I was like looking to see that still recording. But yeah, we like take a nice like night out with him. We take all his drugs, but like really it was just weed. And we go to his apartment. He was living with his mom, who was like a supermodel. So they had this huge, beautiful flat right next to the Eiffel Tower, like around that park. And it was the most beautiful night ever. And he and Mimi like hit it off, and they were like bonding and everything. But we were never going to see this kid again because he was going to rehab for like months and months and months. And he had just broken up with his girl, and he just wanted to like hang out with someone before he went into rehab. So we hung out with him. It was a beautiful night. And then the next day we saw my friend Etta, who, mwah, I love you, Etta. And we had a beautiful time in Paris. And then I fly home. And then she flies to Florence too. And then it's my birthday. So now we're in Florence. I'm getting lit. Like, we're having fun. It's my birthday. I have a bunch of friends in Florence at this point. And the whole time, Mimi's being such a bitch to me. Like, she's like screaming at me. She's like, "You're so selfish. Like you're just always thinking about yourself." On my birthday, she's telling me I'm selfish and thinking about myself. And everyone's like, "Dude, leave her alone. It's her birthday. Why are you being so mean to her?" And also, I had gotten her a place to stay at my friend's house. We all stayed at my friend's house. We all slept in the same bed. And then we kind of figured out who was the one that like peed on everything that night. But I'm going to keep that a secret. For the sake of both of us. So then we, we had this whole moment in Florence where everyone's like telling me like, "Dude, she's not a good friend to you." We're realizing that she's not nice to you. She doesn't really actually like you because of the way she treats you, the way she talks to you, the way she talks about you. Like, she's not a good friend. And I'm like, huh, interesting. And that's when I started to like clock it. I started to like see everything in retrospect and be like, you guys are right. Like, she's not very nice to me. And like, she says all these fucked up things, and she always buys me things. And like, then I feel guilty, and I feel like I have to like do things for her and do things with her, and really weird. So then finally I ended up going back to the US, right? I come back home because I'm done with my traveling and everything, and I end up moving in with Mimi. My boss helped me get an apartment near her so that I can help her out and like be closer to her and work. And I get an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment in Sunnyside, and Mimi ends up moving in with me. And let me tell you, that was just like kind of miserable because Mimi was always like really shady, really weird. She had all these friendships with like older women, and then she ended up like hooking up with their boyfriends. She did it to like 2 or 3 people where she would like end up messing around with their boyfriends, and then she would lose the friendship because she would mess around with their boyfriends. Like, I would never bring a man around her because I felt like she was gonna try and sleep with him too. And thankfully I didn't have anyone like super close to that I was with like at that time, like a guy, because I feel like she would have done the same. But yeah, I started to like pole dance at that time. I started to like roller dance, and she started to do the same. And when I would try to show her, because I was way better at her than she, like, I was way better at her at both of these things than she was. Like, I've been rollerblading since I was a kid, so I can roller skate, and I was like roller dancing and whatever. And I would try to teach her, and she'd be like, "You're such a bad teacher," like, huh. But then I would go and do events, and I would teach people, and I would dance with people, and they're like, "You're such a good teacher. You're so great." Even kids would say that to me. So then I started to feel like, okay, now you're trying to make me feel insecure. And then whenever there was like, we had a pole at the house, so whenever I would pole dance, she would not come out of her room. She wouldn't want to like hang out with me while I was doing it. And whenever I would come home, she would be like, "Oh yeah, I practiced for like 2 hours today, and it was so much fun." And I was like, "How come you don't practice when I'm around?" And she's like, "Well, I like to do it when I'm by myself." And I'm like, okay. So I started to notice that she was like maybe a little jealous and like insecure around me. And then there was this one time she like wanted to take me to one party, and she was like, "I want you to come with me so you can make me look better." And mind you, she's like a white girl, and the party that we went to, it was like mostly black people in Harlem. I grew up in New York City. I'm Puerto Rican. Like, I feel like I get invited to the cookout, right? So she wants me to come, even though she got invited to the cookout. It could have been just fine if she went by herself, but she said literally, "Come with me so that I can look better." But I'm like, wouldn't it make you look worse because I'm the cool one? I guess because I hang out with her and made her look cooler. I don't know what the logic behind that was, but I end up going with her, and it was so much fun. But then we end up like, she ends up like house sitting in Brooklyn, and like she gets mad at me because I wouldn't stand where she wanted me to stand, and then she ditches me in a park in the middle of fucking Brooklyn. Well, after I went all the way there to hang out with her, I was like, yo, like, there's just too many things happening right now that just show me that it's like, it's a one-way friendship. And then she started telling people that, or telling me that I was like emotionally manipulative and that I was using her and that all these crazy things. And I'm like, no, I feel like you're doing that to me and then you're telling me that I'm doing that to you. So it was really weird. And she's like, oh, well, you're always talking about your family and your problems and your trauma. And I'm like, bitch, because it's happening. And you're my friend and I'm supposed to be able to talk about things openly. So if you feel bad about how my life is happening, and like and you're, it's just like, I'm not lying, I'm just telling you what's actually happening, and I'm opening up and I'm actually sad about it, and you live with me, what do you expect? Like, I'm not, then let's not talk, then let's not be friends if you don't want to hear about my life, because I need to be able to talk about it, especially with friends, if I'm not going to therapy, which is another video I'll do for you guys, why therapy actually wasn't the thing for me and why it might not be the thing for you. So yeah, back to the story. I was just kind of like over it at this point. And so on her way to move out, I actually, before that, before I even moved to the place in Sunnyside with her, I was living in a co-living space in Brooklyn. And that was right after I came back from Italy. And at that house, I threw a big party. And my ex, Zane, who was my boyfriend during high school, and Dee Dee were in town. They were all in town. So I invited them all to my house. And while I was dating Zane, I would go to his house, and I would also bring Mimi and Dee Dee to his house because he had a huge house and his parents were so nice and welcoming. So we would have like little get-togethers at Zane's house. And they were always like friendly, but it was never like anything crazy because I was dating him, right? But then anyways, like years pass, I move into that co-living space in Brooklyn, and I throw this party, and Zane had hit me up, and turns out he like ended up being like bisexual or something, and he was like, I'm sorry, like I did cheat on you and blah blah blah, and like, can we be friends? Like, it would be nice to be in your life. And so I was like, fine, we can be friends. Same thing with her. She was like, oh, like, I don't want it to be like bad. I love you. I want you to be in my life. And I was like, cool, let's all be friends. The more the merrier. So I throw this party and I invite a shit ton of people. Like over 30 people came to this party. And it was so much fun. And they reconnected at that party. And I could sense that there was something there, and I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, if that's what you guys want to do it. Just tell me, or like be honest about it, because then I'll know that it's happening and it won't be weird. But like, what they decide to do, pause. I had thrown that party. They reconnected. I guess they had been hanging out in between that time and the time that I was living with Mimi. And then eventually Mimi got on my damn nerves, and I ended up almost beating the shit out of her one time. But guys, I told you, I've gotten so much better with my anger management because, you know, Puerto Rican from the Bronx, you might get stabbed. But not now. Now I'm good. I'm good, guys. I told you I was feeling nice. I'm feeling nice today. So I kick Mimi out, and she ends up like accusing me of like stealing her like fucking spices and her Swiffer. And I'm like, girl, I got a Swiffer and I can buy my spices. Here's $40, $20, buy. And it just ended up like, it ended in a really weird way. But before all of that, Mimi and Dee Dee's mom had a party at their house in Sheepshead Bay, like in Bumblefuck. So I go all the way there, and at this point I had already started to like know that they were dating, that Dee Dee and Zane were dating, and I was like, are you guys together? Like, are you guys hanging out? And they were like, no, we're not. No, it's nothing. And I was like, okay. In that time, I had gotten Dee Dee a job because my boss's friend was looking for someone to work for her. And so I got Dee Dee that position, working for my boss's friend. But then one day, I'm at my boss's house and I'm like doing my thing, working. And my boss comes up to me and she was like, oh, your ex is at my friend's house. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah. Zane is at my friend's house right now with Dee Dee. And I'm like, wait, how do you even know that Zane is my ex? How do you know this? Oh, Dee Dee told my friend that he's your ex. And I'm like, I hit up Dee Dee and I'm like, why would you even tell this person that he's my ex? Why not just say, this is Zane, the guy I'm seeing? Why do you have to give the whole background, like, oh, this is Crystal's ex, and I'm dating him now, and he's hanging out at your house with me? Where's the lot? Like, it does not make you look good, girl. That doesn't make you look good. It makes you look weird because I just got you a job and now you're hanging out with my ex at your job. Anyways, that literally irked the living hell out of me. Like, it just irked my soul because I'm like, that's weird as fuck. And then I ask you, are you dating him? And you say, no, it's nothing. I know it's something, and I'm okay with it. You guys were actually made for each other. You're ugly as fuck, the both of you. So be happy together, please. Okay? So enjoy it. Just be honest with me. If you want to be my friend, don't lie to me. Because you both came back into my life begging to be in my life, asking me to be in my life. And I allowed you guys, and I brought you into my friend group. I brought you into my life when I didn't have to. And that's how you want to act now? Shady as fuck. So then we go to this fucking New Year's party at their mom's house. And tell me how Dee Dee's gonna sit on his lap and make out with him and shit in front of me. And I'm like, ew. Like, okay, fine. Like, I'm okay with it because I don't give a fuck about you guys like that. Like, I don't want Zayn, and I'm not close with Dee Dee. At this point, I was only close with Mimi. But like, ew, shame on you guys for not being capable of being honest and being open and honoring a friend. Because that was the honorable thing to do, was to be like, hey, look, we're dating, and even if you don't like it, we're sorry, but we're gonna keep dating, right? That would have been the adult thing to do, the normal person thing to do. But you guys wanted to be weird, deny, and then sit in front of me and act like boyfriend and girlfriend. Ugh. Gross. And that's what bothered me about the whole thing. Where it's like, you can't even be a grown-up and speak truth. Ew, I don't want you in my life. So I completely cut them off. Because, ew. And I kicked out Mimi out of my damn life because she was weird as fuck, trying to basically become me in a way. And like, so was fucking Dee Dee. Like, you're having my sloppy seconds. And the other one's like jealous of what I'm doing with my life and trying to like keep me around for like being cool purposes because I get invited to things. I'm a cool person. People, even at work, I was sitting at work the other day and one of the employees there, she goes, what do you do outside of work? And I was like, I do a lot. I'm a big person sitting behind this little ass desk. And she was like, I know, I had a feeling. That's why I asked. You look cool as fuck. And I was like, grazie mille. But damn, it was such a weird time in my life because I was going through a lot. I took custody of my little brother when I was like 21, 22, and he was like 16, 17. And I was going through all of that, and Mimi knew that, and Dee Dee knew that, and they didn't give two shits about me. They didn't care to like be good friends during that time. Mimi, even one time, she told me that she was feeling suicidal because of me. She told me that she was thinking about killing herself because of me. When I hadn't done shit. All that was happening was after we had like this one fight where she left me in Brooklyn. I get home, right? And I'm like, I kind of like want to distance myself from her. We have this conversation and she starts lying to my face and I get so mad. I have this like smoothie in my hand and I just like slammed the smoothie against the door that she was standing by and like splattered everywhere and into her face, and she was like, hey, you're crazy, and I was like, you want to see crazy? Because I could really go crazy, but I'm not going to. Actually, I'm gonna clean this up, I'm gonna apologize, and I'm gonna be the grown-up because you got the best of me. So now I'm gonna say I'm sorry, I'm going through a lot and I didn't mean that. But it was like, she like was triggering me so much, and then eventually she ended up staying at her mom's house right before moving. She like would go back to her mom's house instead of coming home, and I had like a paint and sip at my house, and I invited a bunch of friends. Look, I like hosting things, I like friendship, I like community, I like activities. So I invited a bunch of friends. We're all doing like, you know, coloring, we're painting, we're having a good time. And I told Mimi the day before, I was like, hey, I'm having a thing at the house, come home. And she's like, okay. She never comes back, and I'm like, I told you to come back, like come home. And she calls me the day of the event. She's like, you're having this thing and you didn't even tell me. And I was like, I'm telling you now. I told you, come home, like, so we can do this thing together. And then she's like, oh, you know what? I've been feeling suicidal because of you. And I freak out because that's a serious thing to say. Like, you're telling me that I'm making you think about hurting yourself? That's crazy. And if I am, I'm so sorry. So I start crying in front of all my friends, and they're like, what's going on? And then I tell them what's happening, and they're like, girl, that is not your friend. And they seen through the bullshit because they were like, she's just trying to ruin your night tonight. She's trying to, like, make you feel like shit right here, right now, so that you can't have fun because she's not here. And I think that's when everything switched around, and I decided, okay, you gotta go. You can't be here anymore. It's really weird. And then I kept hearing, like, that their mom was, like, talking shit about me, and that their mom didn't like me, and Mimi was like, I defend you to my family, and blah, blah, blah. But genuinely, it did not feel that way. It just felt like she would go back there, they would talk shit about me, she would be like, yeah, whatever. Maybe she would defend me here and there, but then she would come right back and then, like, look me up and down and be like, you're emotionally manipulative, you're a problem. And I'm like, am I the problem, or are you? So yeah, time goes by. I realized, like, I didn't want to be in New York anymore. And I leave, and I don't talk to any of them ever again, up until maybe a few years ago, maybe like a year or two ago, where I had a dream with, a picture had came up on my iPhone of Mimi, and I missed her for a moment because we did have some good memories together, and she was sometimes kind of a good friend, maybe-ish. So I, felt a little moment of loneliness, so I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry about the way that things ended. Like, I want to be a grown-up and apologize, and I hope you're well. And she was like, thanks. So I was like, cool. At least she read it. And then I closed that chapter, and then I moved back, and it turns out, so Zane's parents were always really good to me, and I really appreciate them, and I hope they're doing well, and that they have the life they deserve, because they were really good people to me and helped me out during really tough times in my life. I will say that about his parents, but not much about him, honestly, because he was just an entitled brat. But he had his good qualities, I guess. But his parents were really kind. His dad specifically stayed in touch with me through, like, social media, and that's how I found out that they had twins together. That Zane and Dee Dee had twins together. I don't know if they're married. I don't know. Like, I think they might have gotten engaged and then had kids. I really couldn't give two shits. But I saw the picture of the two babies, and they look so cute. They're so adorable. One of them looks like Zane, and the other one looks like Dee Dee. And that is the cutest thing ever. Like, yes, your parents are ugly, and yes, they belong together and had ugly intentions or, like, ugly vibes, like towards me. But you babies are cute. I hope you're cute when you grow up too. I'm trying to be nice, okay? Because they are some cute babies. They really are. But sometimes you can be cute as a baby and ugly as fuck when you grow up. So I really do hope that the cuteness sticks, and that they grow up healthy kids, healthy babies, healthy humans, and that they do better for those kids than what Dee Dee and Mimi's mom did for them. I hope that what she did to those girls doesn't carry down into those babies, because Zane has good parents, so I hope they take over and they teach those kids how to be good people, even though both of their kids were kind of degenerates. Like, they're doing better now, I hope, but they were just both kind of like, entitled kids that grew up with wealthy families. But I think that those two babies might do better. I hope that they do. I'm sending them much love from, like, the kindest part of my heart, for real, because I want that for Zane's parents. I want them to have that, like, that loving relationship with their grandkids, and have, like, healthy grandkids, because they deserve that. So out of all of this, I am wishing Zane's parents and those babies the absolute best. I couldn't care less about the rest of them. But happy for them, whatever. I hope they're doing well too, but, like, I don't think about them, honestly. I'm just thinking about, what I learned out of this, and that basically was that I should always be honest, forgiving, and loving, but they don't always have to remain in my life. People like this don't have to remain in your life, because it's not, if it's not building you up, if it's not feeding your soul, if it's not honest, genuine, loving, caring, and considerate overall, it's not worth keeping in your life. And that's why I still follow Zayn's dad on Instagram, because it's like that man was really like kind to me. He was like a father figure to me. He helped me out when I was like really struggling, and his mom too. His mom was a beautiful woman. She was also Puerto Rican and like super fun and funky, and they were so good to me that I wished them so much love. And I I don't really want to talk to them again because I just don't feel like there's a need, but I do hope that everything they did for me comes back to them tenfold, because they were just genuinely good people. And I think that always having good intentions for the people that were good to you is good, and even having good intentions for the people that were bad to you is good, because it doesn't eat at your soul. Oh my god, someone's at my door? I guess not anymore. But yeah, having good intentions for people is the way to go, no matter what they did to you, because having bad intentions and having a rotten heart, or like having bad intentions towards people, will literally rot your heart. It will make you, it will like eat you from the inside out. So like letting go of things like that, and allowing people to show you who they are, and then going from there, and accepting that not everyone will be in your life forever, that some people are just for a season, and that's okay. It's okay. It just is what it is. And once you make peace with that, and you allow them to be who they are, and you forgive them, and not necessarily keep them in your life after that, that's what's gonna get you further and closer towards, that was like me trying to hit the word count. Doing those things is what's gonna get you closer to the life that you want. It's gonna get you closer to the people that are meant to be in your life, and that genuinely care and value you, and consider you and your feelings and the way that their actions affect you. So overall, it was a big lesson, and I'm happy that I didn't settle for bullshit. I'm happy that I didn't end up having kids with someone that I don't love, or for someone that's just like, he's around. I don't want that. I want to have someone that I genuinely love and care for, and that I want to grow with and actually like appreciate and respect. So I'm glad that I didn't settle with him at that time, because I did have an abortion from him when we were in high school. Thank God I did that, because I would be pulling my hair out if I had his kid, and if I was stuck in that lifestyle with him. Like, I just could not have done it. So I'm glad that I made that choice when I was young. I didn't want to take my life in that direction. I don't want to take his life in that direction. I didn't see myself with him for the long run. His parents really wanted us to work. They were like, oh, we should put a picture of you on the wall too, because you guys have been together, and blah blah blah. And like, we were together when he went away through college, and whatever. Like, I'm just glad that I didn't settle. I'm glad that it wasn't me. I'm glad that they're together, and I guess they're happy enough to have had kids together, and I'm happy for those kids, and I'm glad that Zayn's parents have those grandkids now, because I feel like that's all they wanted. And I'm happy for myself too, and how far I've come, and how much happiness I have in me, regardless of all the bullshit and all the drama that I've been through in my life. And I think that the whole point of this video is to show you and to tell you, like, you could have been backstabbed, you could have been homeless. I was the daughter of a crackhead, like an emotionally abusive person. I've been in so many shitty relationships, and I still wake up every day and I try. And I try to be friendly, and I try to bring a smile, and I try to help people, and I'm trying to be loving and kind and generous. Even though I don't have much to give, I still try to give people value through my experiences, even if it's like, like physically helping you move, or like, I don't know, like buying you a coffee one day. Like, I just want good people in my life. And I think that if you let go of all the bullshit in the past, and you allow yourself to focus on the people that are being good and kind and genuine to you, that your life will be so much fuller and so much richer and wealthy. And I think that's what I'm striving for right now. Even though I was depressed for like a year because of the heartbreak that I went through, and I was such a sad girl, I feel like I've come so far from that, and I've learned to forgive even my mom, my dad, who has now been reaching out more out of nowhere. But that's more topics for other videos. But I hope that you got something out of this today. And if you didn't, that's okay. I'm surprised you're still watching. But yeah, always spread love, positivity, and take care of yourself. And let it go. Let it go. Let it go. See you on the next one. Bye.